Hello, fifth graders. If you are filling in your planner today, it is the 23rd of January, Friday. After this Ed puzzle, the expectation is that you do one of the games. So our first question for review is, how do plants use chlorophyll? Now on the Ed puzzle, it usually rearranges the answers, so it might not be in this order. So you might need to re-look and don't just be like, oh, I'm going to pick this one because that's what she said. Look at the answers, read through the answers again. They can be read aloud to you as well. I read all of them aloud, so do that there too. So how do plants use chlorophyll? To take in air, to trap energy from sunlight, to take in water and minerals. Now again, this might rearrange on the Ed puzzle. Have them read aloud again on that question when it comes up. How do plants use chlorophyll? Next question. Some plants are covered in sharp spiny seeds called burrs, right here. These burrs hook on to the fur or the clothes of passing animals or people. How do burrs help the plants they come from? Again, this is probably going to rearrange. A, burrs help to spread the plant's seeds. B, burrs are very tasty to animals. C, burrs collect water from the ground. D, burrs stop other seeds from growing. Again, have it read aloud to you when you get to the Ed puzzle question and it pops up. We have two pictures of the day, kind of illusion pictures. Number one, kind of similar to yesterday when we looked at the horse picture. So looks like this man is carrying this kid, but their faces are lined up perfectly. So I think, and maybe I'm wrong, that the hat belongs on the little kid. This right here is the little kid's chin, and then goes up here, and this is the little kid's nose. So it's almost like he's turned just a tad, maybe not even turned at all, based on the sunglasses, but just lined up perfectly with the man's face. So it kind of looks like a man's face on a kid's body. So that's our first illusion. Next, this one. I think, I don't know if I can move me here, and you might have other ideas, that the kid is laying on his stomach in between parent legs here. So these are parent feet, but it just looks like it's kind of the kid's feet, giant baby feet. So that's my thought. Maybe you have other ideas, but that's what I think is going on. These both came from a sixth grader last year. And again, I know some of you are sending me some, so I'll try and sneak those in sometime. You had a review worksheet due today. So super important that you get this done because it helps you study, right? You looking up the answers in your notebook, which you should have been doing for a week now, helps you just see the material over and over and over. That's why we've reviewed so much this week, over and over and over, like numerous questions at the beginning of every class, so that you hear those questions over and over and over. It's the best way to study. So I encourage you to study when I tell you to, and going forward when a teacher tells you to start studying, so much better to start early. Never start the night before. That is the worst thing to do. And then I'm going to show you, if you were gone, if you ever have a worksheet for me, I try to do most of them on Google on purpose because they're easy to make a copy. So this was the worksheet from yesterday that I posted on Google Classroom. If you are at home and you don't have a printer, what you would do is you'd go up to File and make a copy. Okay, and then if you wanted to put your name here, you could. You don't have to. And then you click make a copy. And now this one is yours. The other one I post on Google Classroom is mine. You're not allowed to type in mine. You have to make a copy that's yours. So now this one would be yours. Okay, so it says copy up here. Now you're able to type your answers. You can't in the other one. When you complete the entire worksheet, that is when you would share it with me. Then I am able to print it for you. So you would just type my name up here. You just type, Nikki Elliott. Or even if you just start typing N-E-L-L, my name will pop up. And then you would click done, and that would share it with me. So anytime you are absent, no reason you can't do most of my worksheets, because I try to make them all Google. so that you are able to work on them from home without a printer, because not all of us have a printer. Alrighty, here we go. First one asked for the transportation system. The transportation with an O in the middle, right? Transportation means moving something. Your transportation to school might be your mom's car. Your transportation to school might be the bus. Your transportation to Florida on vacation is probably an airplane. It's moving things. So in plant world, what specifically moves things are the xylem, phloem, and cambium in any order. You don't have to put them in this exact order. So that is specifically what helps move things along in the plant so it can survive. Change your answers if you have them wrong, because I really encourage you to have someone quiz you from this worksheet. So if you did not have this right, change your answer, please. Change your answer. Number 2. Identify, so kind of means list, the 2 products of photosynthesis. Products means to produce. To produce means to make, right? So you need to know what those words mean, first of all, before you can answer the question. And this is how I've asked it every time. What are the products of photosynthesis? Every time we review this. So what is produced? What is made? There are 2 things made. The 2 main things that are made. One for the plant, one for us. Sugar and oxygen in any order. Change your answer if you have it wrong, so you can study, study, study. 3, same thing, respiration. What comes out of respiration? What's released or made, produced? 3 things. And it's not these 2, right? It can't be these 2. Photosynthesis makes these. Can't be respiration. Can't make the same thing. Water, carbon dioxide, that's one thing. And then energy. And it can be in any order. Change your answer so you can continue to study. Number 4, the tissue that specifically moves the water is xylem. And in your notes, the next one, we circled the pH and the F in food to remember that food flows in the phloem. Food flows in the phloem. I don't have tricks for everything, but when I have tricks, I'm going to let you know. Food flows in the phloem. Number 6, if the stimulus is sunlight, well, first of all, you need to know the 3. Hydro, photo, and gravitropisms. Hydro is water, gravi is gravity, and photo means light. So when we're dealing with light, you're going to pick phototropism. And then it goes on to say the stems are growing up. Well, that would be towards light, right? The sun is usually in the sky, so the stems would be growing up towards the light. So then we need to know, is it positive or negative? And I told you negative isn't bad in plant world. But how you can think about it is if you're around a negative person, they're probably not doing things that are good. And you're probably going to want to get away. So that's how you're going to remember. A negative person I'm going to want to get away from and then relate it to plant world. So that's another trick. Negative, ooh, ew, get away. Same in plants. It is growing away from something. This one is growing towards. It says the stems are growing up. Well, that would be towards the sun. So that means it would be a positive tropism. And on the choices, it says positive hydrotropism. No, that's water. B, positive phototropism. Ooh, I like that choice, but I'm going to read the other ones just in case. C, negative phototropism. No, because I just said negative means growing away, and that's not what the stems are doing. They're growing towards. And then D, positive gravitropism. Nope, that's towards gravity, or that involves gravity. That's not what's going on, because the question said if the stimulus is sunlight. So we have to go back to B. All right, number 7, we needed to write a sentence. Explain how you would expect bean roots to grow. We don't expect them to get moldy, right? So we need to tie this into our chapter and what we're talking about. We would expect roots to grow down every time, okay? And that's why when I put the Petri dish in the tray, the arrow was going down every single day, so I knew which way was down. That was for me, not the plants. The plants don't follow the arrow. The plants follow gravity. I needed to know which way was down so that it showed you down when we looked at them. So the arrow was from Mrs. Elliott, not for the plants. They don't follow any arrow. So we expect roots to grow down, and it's because of gravity. So if they're going towards gravity, right, it's positive. So you should have put, I would expect roots to grow down because of gravity, specifically positive gravitropism. So if you need to fix your answer, please do. So pause your video and please do. Number 8 asks for store or release. And this is straight out of notes as well, so you could look this up. Photosynthesis stores and respiration releases. It has to be in this order. Photosynthesis keeps that energy, right, until they need it. That's what's making the energy, keeping it. And once we need it, once the plant needs to grow, same with us, once we need to move, that's called respiration, and we release the energy. All right, number 9, you needed to put an S if it's a stem job or function, R if it's a root job or function, and L if it's a leaf job. And we're going to go down. So holds the plant in the ground, you should have put R for roots. Holds the transportation system. So holds the xylem, phloem, and cambium. That's the stem. Takes in water and minerals or nutrients. That's the leaf. Oh, sorry. Takes in water and minerals. I'm sorry, I skipped down. Takes in water and minerals. That's the root. I apologize. And then now, let carbon dioxide in and oxygen out. My worksheet that I'm looking at got rearranged. That's the leaf. And I would like you to add stomata with that one and circle it or highlight it or something. So again, we've got R, S, R, L going down. And we're adding stomata to that last one. Specifically, the stomata of the leaves let carbon dioxide in and oxygen out. Next column takes in sunlight for photosynthesis. Leaves usually do that. Any green part, but there's usually leaves that do that the most. Supports, which kind of means holds the leaves and flowers. That would be the stem. And then this is where photosynthesis usually happens, is also the leaves, because that takes in the most sunlight. I think we're going to the back now, to the back. Circle the correct answer. The process where water evaporates from the leaves and more water moves up through the plant to replace it is called transpiration, B. And the last question that you had to complete, the part of the plant that makes more xylem and phloem is the C, cambium. Then it goes on to say, look at the Wiser Me practice quiz that we did. If you had any wrong, spend time learning those questions. You should have done that on your own, right? Your parents shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have used your notes. It's kind of a way for you to check your understanding. Because if you don't know this, you're not going to do very well on the test, right? It's as simple as that. So doing the work yourself is super important so that you learn the material. And then on the bottom of the sheet, it says, spend time reviewing how seeds move from one place to another. Okay. So lots of study tools, specifically notes. So now we're on to this. It says, and you're still listening because the Ed puzzle's not done. There are some questions coming up you need to complete, or I'm going to count this as missing. So there are a couple more questions you need to complete, and then you can move on. So when the Ed puzzle is done, and you've submitted it, it's always great when you submit it. It helps me. It shows me you're done. Then you do the one study game. I encourage you to study tomorrow and Sunday so you are ready for our test on Monday. I told you yesterday our test is not moving. We're not doing anything earth-shattering. We're just studying some more. So there's nothing new that I've been adding in. Study, study, study. Have someone quiz you from your review worksheet. Play the other study games, right? You need to do one as my assignment. Do the other ones for review. Redo them. If you love Don't Look Down, do it again and again and again. Okay? Again, a couple more questions to answer on this Ed puzzle. And please email me if you have any questions. So stay warm. Oh my goodness. I'm cold even in my house. So please stay warm and let me know if you need anything, okay? Send me an email. Have an awesome day. I'll see you soon.